Okay, if you're following along in your slide notes, we are on the slide that's entitled Stephen Messner and Richard Rosenfield Institutional Strain Theory. So let's talk about their take on this theory. They actually agree with Merton when it comes to the American dream. They agree that material success as a goal is pervasive in American culture. And they take it a step further. When it comes to the American dream, the standard is this: succeed by any means, right? We don't place a lot of emphasis on the right way to achieve the dream. And they suggest that the American dream has created this anomic society, right? And I'm using that term anomic, it's derived from that term anomy that we learned about already. And it's this that causes high volume of crime rates. Anomic societies tend to have relatively weak or ineffective social control as a result of the emphasis that we place on the ends rather than the means. In other words, the outcome is more important than the process of getting there. Another issue with the American dream: when is enough enough? Think about this for yourself. Let's say you've been working for 20 years and your job, your boss tells you, we want to give you another promotion. And you say, I don't want another promotion. I already make a 6-figure salary. My family is taken care of. All of our needs are met. Enough money is enough money. No more for me, please. Nobody's going to say that, right? And so it is with the American dream. Enough is never enough. Once you achieve one goal, it's time to set a new goal. Once you make a certain amount of money, it's time to make more money, right? Enough is never enough. And that is one of the reasons why the American dream is never satiated, and why people will do whatever it takes by any means necessary to achieve the goal. All right. So they say again, American culture is one in which the attainment of goals has superseded the need to conform to the legitimate means. Anything goes. Winning is what becomes most important. So even though they agree with Merton on some points, they critique him on others. They expand on Merton's idea of the relationship among culture, social structure, anomy, and crime rates. High crime rates is more than a matter of striving for monetary gains, according to these theorists. It also results from social institutions that don't have the capacity to control behavior. And if we think about our society and some of the things that we've seen in recent times, it's difficult to control people because even our leaders are involved in this criminal behavior that allows them to get ahead. We've heard about various scandals and various Ponzi schemes and things like this, where people who were held in high regard have kind of fallen from grace, and there is no social control. And according to Messner and Rosenfield, there should be institutional constraints that counterbalance the American dream, right? That brings an ethical component to the legitimate way in which we achieve the American dream. Here's some other interesting points that they bring to bear. And as we talk about it, I want you to think about your life, your parents' life, people that you know. Do you see Messner and Rosenfield's theory kind of come into life in your life? Think about it. They say that the economic institution dominates everything. And they offer 3 pieces of evidence. The first is that there's a devaluation of non-economic roles and functions. There's a devaluation of non-economic roles and functions. For instance, when is the last time you saw someone being praised for being an awesome volunteer? That's right. They work for free. They help people for free. They donate their time, their energy, and their resources to the disadvantaged. There's no prize for that. That's not going to show up on your Instagram feed. I'm pretty sure of it, right? Because that role and that function is devalued with preference for those efforts that will result in monetary exchange. Right? Let's look at number 2. All other institutions must accommodate the economic needs. right? So all of the other social institutions must bow down to the economic institution. Here's some evidence of that, right? Think about family life. Family life is generally dominated by work schedules. Sorry, little Billy, I can't come to your soccer game. Little Susie, you're in crisis, but I don't even know it because I'm working 60 or 70 hours a week and I'm not home to observe the changes or the transitions that people might usually observe in their children who are in crisis because I'm not there. You've heard of latchkey kids, right? People who are kept by strangers because their parents have to work, right? So all other institutions, here we're looking at family, have to accommodate the economic institutions. Non-economic roles especially have to concede and accommodate economic institutions. All right. Third is the penetration of economic norms. We are starting to view the world and our social relationships as a business. Think about some of the language that we use. Time is money. Right? Time is money. We may spend less time nurturing social relationships or, again, attending our kids' soccer game, and we spend more time in our economic endeavors. Sorry, I can't be there for you. I have to make this money, right? I have bills to pay. Sorry, I can't nurture relationships that I might need to support me in the future, right? So the way that we get support is that we give support when others are in need. But if we don't have time for it, oftentimes because we're working, trying to get ahead, those relationships fall by the wayside, right? Time is money. Spouses are now called our partners, or they assist us in managing the home. That's business lingo. What about my spouse is the love of my life, right? He or she is my other half or my better half. No, we don't speak about that. Speak about our spouses in that way. We call them our partners, right? We work together to manage the home, right? Business lingo. I've even heard students talk about their education as something that they're paying for, right? They might believe that they deserve certain grades or certain accommodations because I'm paying for my education. I'm paying for a good. I'm paying for a service. The customer is always right. Even if your exam is wrong, I'm the customer. I'm always right, right? So it's very interesting. Again, these economic norms penetrating education, families, our relationships. And we even have politicians saying things like, I will run the country like a corporation, right? As a matter of fact, our current president was known for being a successful businessman, and people felt like this would be helpful in terms of getting the country on track fiscally, right? So again, these economic norms penetrating every other social institution. I think Messner and Rosenfield are onto something. As you think about those things, do you see that playing out in your life that way? That your world revolves around work, right? That you miss out on a lot because of economic obligations, and some of us overextend ourselves economically because we're trying to keep up with the Joneses or demonstrate financial success, and it means we have to work harder. If we want the nice car, we have to work harder versus driving the hoopty. Nobody thinks the hoopty is cool, right? So it's very interesting, and all of these manifestations can be linked to Parsons' notion of disequilibrium in society, that pendulum swinging too far to one side. Has our emphasis on economics gone too far, right? Messner and Rosenfield say that as long as there's a disproportionate emphasis on monetary rewards and economics, we can expect the crime issue not only to stick around, but actually to increase.